What is going on, YouTube? I am back with another video, you guys, and you can hear the beast idling in the background. I've gotten a lot of comments recently on the build and different mods and all these questions, right? And I figured what better way to answer it than with this video right here, you guys. We're gonna be talking about the best 5 mods for under $300 to your Dodge Charger, Challenger, 392, Scat Pack, even Hellcats, you guys, right? And these are all mods that are gonna help the car. These aren't necessarily cosmetic, but outside of that, obviously you can see the beast is warming up. We're gonna hit the streets soon, but if you're new to the channel, you guys, make sure you lock in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, because everything 1320 happens on this channel. Drag racing, car mods, car meets, anything car related, you guys. But let's get into these 5 mods. All right, so first of all of these mods can be done to a brand new 392 Scat Pack or Hellcat or a used one, you guys. So no matter if you've had the car for a while and you're just trying to spend a little bit of money to do a few things, or if you just got the car and you're wondering what should I do first, right? So the first one is something that most people do the day they get their car, and that is a mid-muffler delete, you guys. There is a 6.4 liter engine in this thing, and Dodge, if you don't know, has 2 mufflers, right? The mid-mufflers and the resonators, right? So it definitely muffles the tone of the car, and if you want to wake the sound of this car up, go ahead and get a mid-muffler delete now. Biggest thing is it's going to cost you anywhere between $85 to $150 depending on where you are, what shop you go to, and the quality, you guys. It is a 2 7/8 inch pipe, all right, and they're just going to replace it with literally a metal pipe, titanium, whatever the actual shop uses. Now understand what they use will, you know, vary the sound a little bit, but most exhaust shops use the same thing, right? So for me, the car is fully built now with an exhaust, etc., but that is one of the first things that I did is wake this beast up with a mid-muffler delete, you guys. So definitely number 1 is something that you can do at any point in time. It doesn't cost you a lot, and it'll definitely change your car right away. Now the next 4 mods we're going to be talking about are actually under the hood, you guys, and again, they're all under $300. Now if you don't do the mid-muffler first, I believe this is the first mod that you should purchase when you buy a 392 Scat Pack, you guys, and that is going to be your oil catch can. Now if you don't know what this is, some people call it an oil separator, whatever term you want to use, right? It keeps the actual oil from going into your intake system. So number 1, it helps with longevity of the engine, helps with not getting deposits into the motor, anything of that nature, and you can make it look super nice. Now mine is from Billick Technology. You can reach out to them, man. They do some crazy good work. You can see everything that they've done to my car, right? Nick over at Billick Technology really hooked me up on this and helped out a lot, so I definitely recommend Billick Technology. And it's all, hopefully you can see the flake, sun's not out, but crazy sparkle there, and it's a simple hookup. All right, you have a bolt, all right, hoses, and then you can see under there hose, and then it's done, right? So for me, it is a no-brainer, the fact that this is about $100 to $200, right, that you can purchase right away and help your actual car. And if you guys know, anything like that can hinder horsepower and actually create problems later on down the road, man. So if you don't get the mid-muffler first, I get it, but definitely purchase your oil separator, oil catch can. Mod number 3, you guys, and this is one that you actually cannot see, but it is one of the most beneficial mods you can change on your Scat Pack, all right? For me, it was done when I built the car, or got work, or started getting work done on the car. Right, that sun is killing me, you guys. But it is a 180-degree thermostat. You can see the cooling hose here, the coolant system right here. The reason we're gonna go for a 180-degree thermostat is because Dodge, right, decided to put a 203 degrees thermostat in this 6.4 liter engine. If you know anything, in the summer, this car gets crazy hot. It does not release air well, and because the motor is so big, the cars do tend to run a little hot, right? So you get a 180 degree thermostat. It basically just tells the radiator and the fans to start moving at that temperature to keep your engine cooler, and it runs about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than your 203 degrees thermostat. If you guys know, heat robs horsepower. You want to keep the engine as cool as possible. Now, what I'll do is actually have, number one, I'll have all of these products in the description, or links of the products in the description, but what I'm gonna do is throw up a few. You have Mishimoto, you have Napa, I think that's it that I've used personally, and the one that's in here right now is actually from Napa. My Mishimoto one went out, and I actually went through 2 of them, and the one from Napa has given me no issues, you guys. So again, I'll leave both of those, and then again, I'll leave the links in the description. But again, it's something that helps this car run a lot cooler, and again, it's also longevity, you guys. For me, longevity is everything, especially when you travel to drag race, all of that good stuff. And then of course, when you put money into your car, you want to maximize your dollar at the end of the day, you guys. Your 180-degree thermostat is $30, right? Very cheap. Now you will have to go get engine coolant, because you'll basically have to flush all the coolant to get the thermostat out and replace it. If you don't know, Mad Scatter in North Carolina can take that, basically do it for you, or you can watch a YouTube video. Obviously on YouTube you can do that, right? But let's get into mod number 4. Modification number 4, and this was a touchy one for me, I'll be totally honest. It's something that I went between different air intakes for a little bit, to see what IATs were like and see what I liked best as far as price per horsepower per dollar per se. Not price per dollar, price per increase in horsepower, or as far as how the car functioned. 2, all right, open versus closed box, etc., all of that good stuff, right? So what I'm going to tell you guys, the 2 that worked best, proven on the dyno for my specific car, right? Number 1 was the leg maker air intake. Now I have the true cold air intake on my car right now, and it did increase it a little bit from my previous setup, but it actually takes the cold air from the fender well and runs it up into the intake, you guys, and I'll show you guys what that looks like, because it looks pretty cool. Leg maker does a really good job. You know, anything, most Hellcats have the leg maker, but you can see fully carbon, right? And then you can see, you probably can't see down in there, but my actual intake runs into my fender well. So it basically sits in this area right here, right in front of my wheel. So you can see that little air duct. Hopefully you can see that air duct right in there. But that is where I pull all of my air into. Now, what I'll tell you, when I first got the car, I ran the Hellcat lower air box and the headlight tube, and I loved it. I really liked how it kept my IATs down, and I did replace a K&N filter for the high flow air filter as well, and took the OEM one out. Now, everybody's different. I always tell people the cheaper route is the Hellcat airbox with the tube. It's $100 to $150, and you'll love it. Like the sound, you do get a little bit of a kind of a, I can't explain it, but when the air rushes in, you get a different sound. And again, it's cheaper, right? It's an easy install. Take the air filter out, put it down, back in with the K&N, and then you install the headlight tube. Now 2020s was a little bit different. I struggled and had to learn the hard way about the actual cap on the intake tube, right? But super easy install. I actually have it on my channel. If you don't know, you can check that out. And then of course you have your leg maker intake. I completely fell in love with it. I like what it does dyno wise, temperature wise. Now I will tell you, the only downside, I believe, is when the car runs hot, or if you're stuck in traffic, the intake temperature will rise because of where that intake sits. And then you also need to be careful in going through water and puddles, because that intake sits at the bottom of that fender well, and you don't want it soaking up water, because trust me, if you know anything, I have a friend who literally had water go through her entire engine, but that's a whole other story, right? But for me, $100 to $150 for your Hellcat airbox. I will show you guys that right here. And then you're looking at more expensive, but still less than $300 for your true cold air intake. And number 5, you guys, we are finally at the end, but it's one of the most important ones when it comes to these 5, and one you definitely need to catch on sale for what you're gonna get, right? So the 392s come with what I would consider a pretty restrictive throttle body at the end of the day. So for me, number 5 is definitely the MMX ported 87mm throttle body. Now I don't have a spacer, but I do want to include a spacer over time, but it doesn't really add much. But again, you can find a 87mm ported throttle body for $300 on sale. Now that is again right at that $300 mark and under, but I think it gives you a little bit of a bang for your buck, right? You'll definitely notice, for me, the instant kind of torquiness that it'll allow. Then of course, in conjunction with others, or other mods per se, it can increase horsepower at the end of the day, right? Because you're increasing airflow, all of that good stuff, right? Now, the reason I say catch it on sale, because I think it is $329. Don't quote me, but I will post a picture right here of the actual ported throttle body. But you can see, in conjunction with a good air intake, a good throttle body, and then even a tune, depending on what you have as far as headers or anything else as far as done to the manifold or anything like that, you can get a good little bang for your buck as far as increasing horsepower. Now, there's no such thing as throwing on a cold air intake and gaining 20 wheel horsepower. No such thing, right? There's literally nothing like that out. Now, they advertise it because they can increase horsepower to the crank, flywheel, whatever term you want to use, right? But again, number 5 is definitely your throttle body, man. Replace it. It's the most expensive part out of the 5, but I definitely think you'll enjoy that the most out of all 5. So in closing, you guys got 5 easy mods to your SCATPACK for under $300. And you may say, well, what did I actually get out of the mods? What happened, right? Number 1, you increased sound. 2, you decrease your IATs, all right, your intake air temperatures. 3, you helped with the longevity of the motor with your oil catch can, right? Number 4, you increased airflow, all right, with your throttle body and intake, right? And then number 5, I really want to hit this. It's something that you're going to spend a small amount of money on to mod such an expensive car, right? So in total, you'll probably spend in between $700 to $1,000 for 5 mods. That's absolutely crazy for those things. So for me, those were my top 5. Let me know in the comments what your top 5 would be for under $300 now. Under $300 for your SCATPACK. But again, tune in, man. We got another top 5 video of Amazon mods, all right, that are very, very cheap, and more of the cosmetic side for your Dodge Challenger 392, SCATPACK, Hellcat, whatever it may be, man. So make sure you tune in. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well, because we are going crazy for the rest of the year, man. The channel is growing like wildfire. But outside of that, again, everything 1320 happens on this channel, and we're out.